a little bit later today than I normally shoot videos, so if the lighting is off, my apologies. So I'm on my way back from picking my daughter up from daycare, and I was listening to the Battlestar Galactica soundtrack, and people who follow me either on Facebook or on my blog have heard me talk so many times about BSG or reference it. Well, one of the things that I don't like doing is I don't like being reactionary. I don't like making dire predictions or fear-mongering. It drives me up the wall. If I'm critical of the media for doing it, then I can't do it myself, because that would make me hypocritical rather than critical. So, back in January, and I would have to go back and look at the date, I like to bookmark things, and I bookmark them either in a public way or in a private way, so that I kind of can re-engage on something later when I have a little bit more time to flesh out the ideas a little bit more. So back in January, I posted this piece that I just got done listening called, the piece is titled "Something Dark is Coming." And it's a really complex piece as far as emotions go. I told my son a long time ago that you could pretty much tell the whole BSG story just with music based on the mood, because Bear McCreary did a really good job of conveying the emotion and the action of what was going on. So in this, summarized, one of the characters was in a state of foreboding because she had an idea that great challenges were afoot. They were developing slowly, whether or not she could see them or whether she could just intuitively extrapolate. Yes, she's coughing because we're both getting over a slight head cold. But the question was whether or not she could extrapolate accordingly. So the reason why it's significant is because I can trace when I first realized how bad COVID was going to get, because I just posted a link to the YouTube video of that piece. No explanation, nothing. That was my bookmark, because I knew from being a history guy, history nerd, and knowing how reactionary we can be both as people and as media, social and traditional. I knew that it wasn't going to be good. I had no idea it was going to be as bad as it did get, but was it really? So that leads me into an explanation of the evolution of my own thought processes. When I first started writing, I used the term, right? I just used the nom de plume, the pen name of Columbus Cynic, because I have very weird ideas about privacy, even though in this day and age, there is no such thing as privacy when it comes to anything digital. But I didn't want my name being out there because it just didn't make any sense. I'm not going to post under my own name. So I used the term Columbus Cynic because at the time I was going through a really, really bad transitional time in my life. And I was living in Columbus, Georgia. So it made sense. I was very cynical on a lot of big things, but I was also living in Columbus, so hence the name Columbus Cynic. Lately I've been thinking about how accurate that is of a representation that I want to have out there in the world. it's not that Columbus Cynic needs to go away. It just needs to. That was a time in my life that I've kind of moved beyond. So in the process of my writing on social media and my blog, etc., I have commonly referred to the term, or referred to myself as being a vicious optimist. To me, being a vicious optimist is better than being a cynic, because you're optimistic, but you're not naively optimistic. You're aggressively optimistic. It's more of a Henry Rollins type of attitude towards the potential that we can be, or that society can be. You okay? You're fine? Okay. So I'm thinking about just slowly changing everything over to being instead of Columbus Cynic, posting as the vicious optimist. Yes, I realize I'm overthinking this way too much, but this goes back to what I was originally leading into with this piece by Bear Burger. Something Dark is Coming is complex, as I stated before. It's very foreboding, but at the same time, it's actually very beautiful in texture. There is a subtle, understated, suggested hope in this piece that really kind of reflects how I view a lot of things. Because being a fan of history, a student of history, you realize that we can go through some really, really dark times. We inflict the worst evils upon ourselves. And some people are actually okay with it. As I've stated in the last couple of videos, I'm still working on Ordinary Men, and it just really got brutal. And as I said in the last video, it was getting to the point where it's very repetitive and distressing. But at the same time, I'm recording this on the eve of the elections. I've cast my vote. My wife has cast her vote, and we're eagerly awaiting how things go. And it really kind of, there's a lot of my friends on Facebook that are both very far left and very far right. And for them, something dark is truly coming. They view things as, this isn't going to be good at all if things go opposite or counter the way that they would like. But I can't simplify my own beliefs in that way. I can't look at things with a catastrophic view. I think that while something dark may be coming for some, it's all about perspective. I choose to have the perspective that no matter what, we rise in the face of adversity. We take on challenges, and it teaches us a lot more about ourselves, or about our society, or about what our values are. So is that really a bad thing? I don't think so. I really don't. Because we tend to get very complacent and very lazy. One of the people I wrote about during my academic endeavors was a Russian general by the name of Suvorov. And in one of his books that he wrote in the late 18th century, He wrote, without courage, with too much courage, there's little, or too much comfort, there's little courage. Something along the lines of like that. I'm paraphrasing, and this is one of the reasons why I hate doing videos, because I love accuracy, and I really hate garbling things, especially if I'm quoting somebody or paraphrasing somebody and I can't remember exactly how it goes. It drives me up the wall. Besides, I'm an introvert. This is what, the fifth video that I've done, and I have not watched a single one. I hit record and I never look back at things. That way, it's just really weird. But going back to my whole point, we allowed ourselves to get complacent because we were too comfortable. And we always tend to do this as a organism, as a species, as a society, or whatever you want to call mankind. A virus, according to Agent Smith from The Matrix. We forget what we are capable of doing. We forget that we tend to actually thrive when we're challenged, when we're forced to come out of our comfort zones and explore new ideas out of necessity or out of imperative. I like that word, imperative. So, I'm not really worried about it. I view where we are today on November 3rd, 2020, as being very anxious for a lot of people. I'm not gonna lie. There's a little bit of anxiety with me as well. But as I've written before, as I've stated before, everything is about choice. You can choose how you react to the world around you. You can choose to be fearful. You can choose to be anxious. You can choose to be paranoid. Or you can choose to look at everything as an opportunity to explore what you're capable of doing or how you're capable of reacting. I look at this as a very exciting time. I wrote about that back in December, January, when I was talking about Richmond and where I saw things going there. And maybe this is what distinguishes me from other people. I really hate the way that sounds, because it sounds like, oh, look at me, I'm so much better than the average person. I'm not. I'm definitely not. But I like this. I like where we are. Well, I don't like where we are. I like the where we can be because of where we are. If that makes any sense. The video is getting really, really dark. That's okay. So, yeah, I just noticed how dark the video actually is. Here, what if I do this? So you can at least see my eyes. I'm not worried. And I hope you aren't either. I hope that over the next 24 hours, next 48, 72, over the next week, over the next month, over the next year, etc., etc., that more and more people realize that they're going to be okay. Because it doesn't matter how dark things may be, how ominous things can seem like they are, or hopeless. We always find a way to be ourselves. And that's okay. We just have to be okay with that change, with that evolution. So, I hope this finds you well. I hope you enjoyed the video. And I will have another one talking about what the hell happened. Because I have no idea. And neither do you. And no one does. It's so fun. All right. Take care.